Hey, it's Tom from Audio Ordeal, and today I'm going to be showing you sidechain compression in Ableton. So you might have seen my video in doing it in Reaper, and this is how to do it in Ableton. I've asked a bunch of you who follow me on Facebook what you'd like to see more of, and many people said more Ableton. So we're going to do more Ableton tutorials. Don't worry though, we will stay with Reaper as well. It's just branching out a bit and giving everyone as much insight into different DAWs as I can. So what is sidechain compression? Basically, sidechain compression is where you compress a sound using a kick drum normally as a trigger, and so they allow more room every time the kick drum plays because that sound is turned down in volume. Sounds a bit confusing, right? So let me just get a compressor up on this and I will explain to you what's going to happen. So we have our compressor and we have two tracks. We have a kick drum track and a bass track. Let me just play you the kick drum track so you can hear what's going on. So pretty standard 808 kick drum, and if we just look at the bass, I have recorded a little bass loop. It's really basic and not that great, but it'll give us enough insight. I also made sure there was a lot of high frequency content in case you're listening on a mobile phone or some bad headphones. I didn't want too much low frequencies to not come through, so it's quite a full bass sound across lots of different frequencies. Now then, we have on the bass track a compressor. If we have a little play about, we can see what compression does. So let me play. So compression works by the threshold. Any volume above the threshold immediately triggers the compressor and gain reduction happens. So you will see that this gain reduction meter, GR, only shows levels when the volume goes over the threshold, and I'll point that out again. So what the compressor's doing is it's monitoring this volume here, and anything that goes above it, it's turning it down by a similar amount, normally followed by the ratio. So this works well if you've got a vocal or a sound you just need to tame, but when you're doing dance music, you want to get the kick drum to trigger it, and this is why. I'm going to hit sidechain, I'm going to select audio from kick. We're not going to worry about the EQ yet, and I am just going to hit play on both and you will see what happens. So can you hear every time the kick drum plays, the volume of the bass goes down a bit, meaning the kick drum really punches through and comes out. This is a really handy tool to use because in dance music, the kick drum is the heartbeat of the song. It is the one pulse that needs to come through every single time. That's why sidechain compression is used a lot in genres such as house music, but also like dubstep and songs which really have emphasis on the kick drum. It also provides a lot of room so you can have the kick drum louder. The whole song's not going to clip as hard, and so that's really handy. And if I've got an idea, let's duplicate this and just add another different, let's just add a different preset in Serum. We'll go into, let's do cymatics and we'll do leads or something. Festival House Serum presets. This sounds like it's going to be super main stage, and let's solo it and have a listen. And we'll have to hit play. So yeah, that is probably not something I would use, but if we turn the compressor off, you'll hear it. And then if we turn the compressor on, you'll feel it's got that bounce, even though we're not playing the kick, because it's still playing, but it's just not soloed. We'll feel that bounce, and this is something that's used in builds and house music as well, because you feel like the kick's there even though it's not. So the higher the ratio or the lower the threshold, the more intense an effect you get. Normally you want to play about with balancing the ratio and the threshold. You also probably want to click auto for the release, and that just allows it to time it better with your song. But if you want to really tailor the release, you can tailor it to however many milliseconds you want. I quite like doing it to half a beat. So whatever tempo you're at, figure out what half a beat is. It's handy when you're doing something like 60 BPM or 120 BPM because it's much easier maths. But it's even better to just use your ear. So let me solo the kick and this synthy sound, which what I'll do, I'll rename synth. And let's play them, and I'll turn off the compressor and turn it back on. So truly horrendous, and we'll make it slightly better. See how that's just, it's allowing the kick to come through and it's not overwhelming your ears all the time. So what we'll do now, finally we'll play with the kick, the bass and the synth. And if we turn the synth and the bass compressor off, you'll hear just how messy it'll be. Even just by adding 2 instances of sidechain compression, it really tidies your mix up. That last one is where we've got the bass actually uncompressed, so the bass has no effect on it and the synth does. This is something to play about with. Normally what I do when I have my tracks, I allow a sidechain compression effect on each one of them, and I basically toggle it on and off depending on different aspects of the song. So it's normally good to set a nice sounding sidechain compression on every track, and then you have the option of using it. If you're jamming out a track or sketching it out, then you don't want to be setting all the sidechain compression parameters all the time. So at the start when you're making a sound, just set yourself up a rough sidechain compression, and if you like it on, keep it on. If you don't like it on, turn it off, but you've always got that option to turn it on in an important bit of the song. With a sound like this one, see how it's got quite a hard attack, it's quite an aggressive pluck. By sidechain compressing that, you'll lose some of the aggression of the pluck, so that's something that you want to watch out for. In comparison to a sound like this, I'll turn it off so you can hear the attack. That's still got quite a hard attack, but it's a much longer sound, so it can afford a bit of a longer attack, and this is why sidechain compression will sound better on a synth lead than it will a pluck or a bass stab. The tricky bit is bass notes usually are better for sidechain compression when you want to get the headroom, because the kick drum and bass occupy the same frequencies. So it might even be better doing light sidechain compression on the bass and heavier on the synths. Finally, one thing you can do is if I make sure it's disabled on the synth, make sure it's disabled on the bass line. If we send these to the reverb and have a listen to the reverb, and let's send a bit of them to the delay as well. So what we can actually do is we can get the sidechain compression on the reverb, and this will make for a really, really good effect. Let's have a play. And we'll make sure it's on the delay as well. And we'll turn it way up on the delay so it is not too bad. And we'll turn the reverb down a bit as well. Awesome, thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please give it a like and subscribe. And I am on Patreon, so I give away some sample packs and exclusive content to my patrons. You only need to donate $1 a month, or you could do 100 if you're rich. But this just helps the channel out, it covers some of the website costs, and it is a great way of getting additional content and some exclusives for my best followers. So thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you at the next video. Bye!